Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear for all the haters in the back. Listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
I just want to be clear. So listen up real loud. Welcome, my friends. It is the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. That, of course, from the announcement that she threw her hair in the ring, at least one of them. She has a bunch of wigs. They're different looks. So she threw one of her hairs in the ring anyway yesterday. Jasmine Crockett, we announced it on this program, and we have other audio from that announcement if we dare play it for you. Also today, ladies and gentlemen, on this, the fastest hour in American media, I have a collection of voices regarding the Minnesota scandal from social media. You know, Trump made the remark that took a lot of heat from it too. Not presidential and all that business about the Somalis, but I have remarks. I guarantee you that if you watch any MSM mainstream media outlet, if you read their papers, you're not going to hear from these people. There are three, and I didn't choose them. They're out there. When I say I didn't choose them, I didn't just go looking and say, okay, let me find African Americans, Black Americans, whatever they're called this decade, we are called this decade. People are just making comments, and I see them, and I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to put some of these together because they all have a similar ring to them, and I know you don't see this. You're not going to see these voices on the CNN panels or the MS Then Now whatever we are panel, or you're not going to see them even on Fox News. But they're out there, and these are the things that people are seeing as they use social media to get their news or to discuss what is in the news. So we have some of those voices. Speaking of social media, I hadn't even intended on getting to this right away, but Rahm Emanuel, who many of you political insiders know, big Democrat, one of Obama's chieftains, is mulling a presidential run. He is, it's a story in Politico today, he is saying that the United States of America should follow Australia's lead. Australia has banned children under 16 from using social media, saying it's dangerous, it's not good, so banned. And Rahm Emanuel is saying that because of the addictive nature of social media, the attendant health risk, he wants Americans to follow the lead of Australia and to ban children from using social media like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Ha! Good luck with that. I wonder if you think that's a good idea, however. Now, on the area of Obamacare, lo and behold, yesterday we talked about the Republicans haven't come up with their plan. There is a post today on Chris Coons, the Senator Chris Coons. What's the Republican health care plan? They don't have one. They haven't had one for 15 years. And he's trying to push everyone to this Senate. They're going to be voting on it Thursday in the Senate. The plan to just hand over more billions of dollars to the big insurance companies under the name of this failed Obamacare program. And there is now going to be at least a vote on a competing plan that Republicans have offered, not just to shovel money toward Obamacare, which then portions of it get shoveled right back into Democrat campaign coffers. The Senate Republicans have come up with a plan from Senators Bill Cassidy, who sometimes, by the way, is an anti-Trumper, who chairs the Senate Health Panel. He's a doctor. And from Republican from Idaho, Mike Crapo, who chairs the Senate Finance Committee. They've announced their plan, and it has the blessings of most of the Republicans in the Senate. They had a conference closed-door meeting today, and they gave their blessing to it. The plan echoes something Donald Trump said, which is give the money to the people. Their proposal, unveiled last night, would abandon just handing over these billions of dollars in enhanced subsidies in favor of setting up health savings accounts. So the money would go to people to purchase insurance. The program would seed health savings accounts with $1,000 for people between the ages of 18 to 49. If you are between the ages of 50 and 65, you would get $1,500 to seed your account. Or and that goes to if you earn over 700% above the poverty level, you'd be gifted the money. In order to get the pre-funded HSAs, the health savings accounts, this is for people on Obamacare. They would have to buy a bronze or catastrophic plan or sign up for it on the Obamacare exchange. So it doesn't kill Obamacare, but it puts the money in the people's hands instead of insurance company hands. Now, Democrats are not going to like that. The money doesn't go to the big insurance companies, whether people use the plans or not. The insurance companies get paid, and they make billions, in some cases never having to deliver or pay for out of their pockets the services that people need. People don't use their Obama insurance because it's too expensive in many cases, so they forego. But the insurance companies get that subsidy money anyway. And then Democrats get that money, some of that money, back in the form of political donations. Now, the Republican plan also does other things that Democrats are going to find highly outrageous. It has a provision in it that reduces Medicaid funding to states that cover illegal immigrants. We were told that Medicaid doesn't cover illegal immigrants. Remember that? That's what no illegal immigrants are on Medicaid. Okay, so why would they object to this? Oh, they're going to object to it because they know they weren't telling the truth. That Medicaid money does end up in the hands of illegal immigrants, especially if you're in sanctuary states like California. So this bill would reduce federal Medicaid funding to states that cover illegal immigrants. It would require states to verify the citizenship and immigration status before anyone can get Medicaid. Democrats are going to have a cow over it. It also places a ban on federal Medicaid funding for gender transition services. And those services would not be included in essential health benefits. So they're going to also have another cow over that. And it would include the Hyde Amendment provisions to prevent taxpayer dollars from funding abortions, which is what it's supposed to do anyway. Taxpayer money is never supposed to be used to fund abortions, but they got around it. So there are 3 provisions in this Republican bill that Democrats will absolutely be livid over. You're not using your taxpayer dollars to fund abortions. You wouldn't be using your taxpayer dollars to fund health care for the massive illegal immigrant invasion that the Democrats are behind. And you wouldn't be able to use your taxpayer dollars for someone to do gender reassignment surgery, in addition to taking away some of their campaign dollars. So you watch what's going to happen between now and tomorrow in terms of, I predict, this is not a real plan. This isn't a plan. Republicans still don't have, this is a health care plan. However, it is a plan that Democrats will object to. It will come up for a vote on Thursday in the Senate, along with this idea that Chuck Schumer put forward to just willy-nilly give billions and billions of your dollars to the insurance companies for the next 3 years without any question, and make sure that illegal immigrants can continue to still access your dollars, as well as these other things, abortions and transgender surgeries and all the rest of it that you are expected to pay for. So that's what's happening on the healthcare front. What'd you decide to start with today, Carlos?
So this is the Doors, obviously. But on this day in 1967, the Doors appear at the New Haven Arena in New Haven, Connecticut. Before the show, policemen find singer Jim Morrison making out with an 18-year-old girl in backstage shower. Oh, okay. And after an argument with the policeman, he was sprayed with mace in the face. That was funny. It rhymed too.
So on this day, let's get this right. In 1967, Jim Morrison of the Doors in New Haven, Connecticut. Policemen go backstage before the show, find him in a shower with an 18-year-old girl. He argues with the cop, and they spray him with mace in his face. But that's not all that happened. Morrison goes on stage, and he tells the audience what happened. The police get ticked off. They jump on stage. They drag him off the stage. They arrest him. And then the crowd breaks out into a riot. And later on, protesters show up in the police station.
I mean, sounds logical.
The Doors. And this wasn't, today this would be like normal stuff. But back then, he did what? He was doing what? With who? James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley. Carlos, let's play something else. Let's go and talk about, I have 3 of these. Folks, I got to get to a lot of stuff today. So forgive me if we do them short version. Okay, 14. I promised you voices that you're not going to hear on mainstream media. Here is one of them. We start off with a black woman who has remarks about what she has been seeing on TV with the scandals and so forth, and the remarks from Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar went on TV this morning, and she was positively giggling because the FBI hadn't found all the connections between her people stealing all that money from our taxpayers and the terrorist organizations that they sent it back to, right? She thinks it's funny. She thinks we're stupid. A lot of these new immigrants, they have zero respect for us, zero respect for our culture, zero in respect for our intelligence, because they think if they can get away with it, it's because we're stupid. Yeah, so Trump has banned travel from over 30 different countries, including Somalia. You know, and I don't think that that's enough, because we need to start mass deportations. We have 1 in 6 people in this country are foreign born. And how many of them are on welfare or some kind of social service program, thanks to the Democrats?
Quite a few of them actually is the answer for that. Also, we have some other stories in the news that I'm going to get to. Yeah, we'll get to Crockett if we have time, but you already know she's there. Massachusetts church keeps anti-ICE nativity scene defying diocese leaders. This happened where it's happening in Boston. Leaders of a Catholic church near Boston kept a nativity display with an anti-ICE message in place, even though the Catholic Archdiocese of Boston told them to remove it. The Holy Family is safe in the sanctuary of our church, adds a smaller note. If you see ICE, please call Loose. That's an anti-ICE immigrant advocacy group, as they're called.
The Rush Hour with James Golden
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, I want to get back to this story really quickly that happened in Massachusetts. Folks, this is okay, we should not even be outraged anymore, the stuff that liberals pull, but I'm sorry. So what happened, this is the St. Susanna Parish in Dedham, Massachusetts, near Boston, all right? So, you know the Christmas nativity scenes. Well, in this Christmas nativity scene, Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus are missing. They took, exactly. They took Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus out of the nativity scene and replaced them with a sign that says, ICE was here. So in other words, ICE raided, according to this church, ICE raided baby Jesus, Mother Mary, and Joseph, and probably put them in a but they didn't put them in a detention center, at least, because according to the Reverend Stephen Josima, the Holy Family is safe in the sanctuary of the church. ICE was here. So I guess ICE attempted to raid baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph, but somehow the church people, the Reverend Stephen Josema and the congregation must have all banded together and fought ICE off and took baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph into the church. The Catholic diocese said, take this down. People are complaining that it's sacrilegious. But, of course, liberals are liberals first. They don't give a damn what you think or how they try to ruin your holidays as long as they can get their political points across. So the Reverend Stephen Josema said, well, the intent of the display was to evoke dialogue, not cause a furor. All right, well, you evoked dialogue. This is just, and the state, by the way, church norms prohibit the use of using sacred objects for any purpose other than the devotion of God's people. Well, they want to make their political statement. And liberals will do anything to make their political statement. Their political statements come ahead of everything and anything else. I saw the word Maryland in the next story. I said, this has to be Montgomery County. And sure enough, it was. You could transplant the entire liberal population of Montgomery County and put it in California, in SoCal, and it would be right at home. Parents in one Maryland community, I said as soon as I saw that, it has to be Montgomery County, are reeling after what they say is another example of taxpayer-funded school pushing ideology over everything else. This is in Bethesda. Brought their kids into Transgender Awareness Week, a 12-slide presentation with videos like advice for coming out, 8 tips for being non-binary, all delivered to children as young as 11 years old. And then children were quizzed on what it means to be a transgender. The first thing people announce about their new baby is the gender. What do you think that is? And it just goes from there. There's also, some kids were taught about binding chest, compressing the breast to actually appear less feminine. This is what they're teaching to 11-year-olds in Montgomery County. In Vermont, a small Vermont school district has managed to ignite a national uproar. The Winooski School District kicked off an uproar when they posted an announcement on Facebook. We are raising the Somali flag this week to honor our Somali youth and families in Winooski and in Vermont. On Monday, we'll be gathering to celebrate together and learn more about our civil rights. So in addition to the American flag, which they, after so many complaints came in, they actually had to shut down the school website over this. Angry phone calls and messages flooded into the quiet city of 7,000 people. They had to make an announcement. The United States flag remains at its proper place at the highest point, but they made a point to raise the Somali flag in Vermont for school there. Switching gears, I found this story amazing. People love to cruise. Perhaps some of you will be going on cruises over the holidays. Maybe you've seen the story of what happened on the Royal Caribbean Navigator of the Seas. Young father overserved to death before being crushed, sedated, and pepper sprayed by a crew after he starts acting out. Now the family's suing him, claiming that the staff of the ship negligently served him at least 33 alcoholic drinks in just a few hours. My question is, did they force him to drink? Did they just give him the drinks, or did he order them? He ordered, apparently, over 33 drinks. And I guess they were supposed to babysit him and make sure he wasn't drinking too much. So now, he ended up dying after he was intoxicated and acting a fool. This crew members had to tackle and restrain him. And apparently bad things happened. They had to use pepper spray, had to deal with a sedative with him. And that is what the lawsuit says, that lethal cocktail restricted his breathing, resulted in cardiovascular failure. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. Now they're suing the cruise line. It's their fault that he drank so much. I promised other voices. And then we have to get to Justice Ketanji Brown. After that, this case we talked about yesterday, where the Supreme Court looks like they are going to, according to oral arguments, at least people are taking the idea that the Supreme Court may give what people are calling the biggest shakeup for federal bureaucracy in maybe a century, whether Trump can actually fire the FTC commissioner and thereby have the power to fire some of these heads of independent agencies. Justice Ketanji Brown wasn't having it. In fact, let's play that now since I brought up the story. It's cut 8. Here is Justice Ketanji Brown from those oral arguments asking questions.
Some issues, some matters, some areas should be handled in this way by nonpartisan experts. That Congress is saying that expertise matters with respect to aspects of the economy and transportation and the various independent agencies that we have. So having a president come in and fire all the scientists and the doctors and the economists and the PhDs and replacing them with loyalists and people who don't know anything is actually not in the best interest of the citizens of the United States. These issues should not be in presidential control. So can you speak to me about the danger of allowing in these various areas the president to actually control the Transportation Board and potentially the Federal Reserve and all these other independent agencies? In these particular areas, we would like to have independence. We don't want the president controlling. I guess what I don't understand from your overarching argument is why that determination of Congress, which makes perfect sense given its duty to protect the people of the United States, why that is subjugated to a concern about the president not being able to control everything. I mean, I appreciate there's a conflict between the two, but one would think under our constitutional design, given the history of the monarchy and the concerns that the framers had about a president controlling everything, that in the clash between those two, Congress's view that we should be able to have independence with respect to certain issues should take precedence.
Now, my question to all of you, especially those of you learned folks out there who follow the court, does she sound like she's asking a constitutional question, or does she sound like she's part of a No Kings rally? Because I listened to this, and I didn't hear the constitutional argument as pronounced. She opens with the idea that he's firing everybody. Well, the president is not firing everybody. He's firing all the scientists. He's not fired all the scientists. And the experts where I think that rather than being appointed to the Supreme Court, perhaps the Democrats should have appointed her to lead up the DNC. Because this sounds to my ears more like a campaign speech than an oral argument that many of us would expect to hear from the Supreme Court. But perhaps you see it differently. Just axing. Okay, now, the other voices. I mentioned to you, I have voices today from people that have weighed in on this continuing saga of the two things that are linked, the fraud in Minnesota and their view of immigrants. And I must say up front that I am not endorsing these views. It is a disclaimer. Perhaps this is not the language that I would use to advance my arguments. But in the large swath of debate that is occurring in this country, these are voices that are rarely, I get distracted sometimes. I just saw one of the most amazingly beautiful human beings ever in my life. Anyway, let me just move past that. Grow up, James. Here we go. Here are the two voices that we're talking about. Both happen to be men. Both happen to be African American men. Cut 12 and cut 13. Of different ages, by the way. Let me see. I think the last one you hear is older. He's got to be maybe in his late 50s, early 60s. The other one is younger, perhaps in his young 30s.
So sick of these people that immigrate to our country and decide to shit on this great country when they've been afforded the opportunity to have a much better life from their native country when you compare the two. How bad does your whole country have to be that you uproot all of the traditions, the languages, and the customs? You leave all of that behind to come to a country that none of that stuff exists. How bad has your country have to be, and how good does our country have to be that you would leave all of that behind? And then you decide to come to our country and on it and talk about the bad things that are associated with our country. It's a definition of ingratitude, being an ingrate. And there's not much worse than an ingrate. You come to my house. I allow you to come in and to be a guest in my house, and you in my living room. Get the F out of my house. If it's that bad, go back to your country. I guarantee you ain't a whole lot of people booking vacations to go to Venezuela, Somalia, Afghanistan, or Haiti. It's just not happening because those are bull. And as our president said, whole countries. He was right. He was keeping it 1,000. Stop it. Stop complaining about our country when we gave you the opportunity for a better life. And I'm not talking about all immigrants. My father was an immigrant, but he appreciates what this country has afforded him. If you don't like it, the door is wide open. Go back home and improve your homeland. Have a good holiday.
That was the older guy, actually. Here's the younger one.
New rule, if you don't like America, you're not welcome. Yeah, if you don't like America, there is no reason for you to come here. You don't need to pack your bags from your country that's better than ours and move to America because we have nothing to offer you. I'm tired of being ripped off. I'm tired of being ripped off by these Somalians that came over here. And when we stand up to them, all they say is that we're racist because we're not racist. We're just standing up and trying to get our damn money back. But we'll never see that money again. So I have to learn from the lessons at hand, which is if you want to be in America, you're only welcome if you actually love America. And I understand some of you got Mexican pride and all these different things. That's totally okay. But when that pride becomes so much bigger than America, then it just kind of tells me that you don't belong here. Because at the end of the day, we have gay people, we have Christians, Indians, and we're just a big, huge melting pot of people that are supposed to love each other and live in peace. And nobody is better than any other person. But when you start ripping people off and claiming racism all the time, guess what? Your race card's expired, and your ass needs to get on a plane and go back home or get in a boat and go ahead and just go across that ocean.
Somebody didn't bleep that last one. I hope none of those words got through. We usually take care to make sure that these things are checked for language. But as you can hear, people are a little upset with what the current climate has been. My friends, coming December 20th, it's Home for the Holidays with Mr. Christmas, Rennie Maduno. Get ready to slay your night away with live performances, ugly sweaters, and jolly friends. It's Mr. Christmas, Vinny Medugno singing your holiday favorites. He's live in concert December 20th. For more info and tickets, go home for the holidays. That's where you go. Go home for the holidays, 2025.com. Home for the holidays, 2025.com. James Golden Snerdley, don't go away. This Saturday, well, I started to talk about Saturday. It's only Tuesday. Bo Snerdley's Tuesday Rush Hour continues. Fastest hour in American media. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And now, a message from McAfee.
I'm not a real kid.
And I'm not a real grandpa.
We're deep fakes.
And we're making it harder to tell what's real online.
The good news? McAfee can help. McAfee's scam detector automatically identifies text and email scams and even deepfakes.
So if you whippersnappers meet one of us, you'll know.
If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I have to remind you to join Red Apple Audio Networks. AARP New York City, the police athletic lead, Gristedes, D'Agostino Supermarkets, Nationwide Imaging Services. We all deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across the city during this holiday season. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. The holiday season, you can help the Red Apple Audio Network feed those in need. Your donation helps put a meal on the table of a family in need. So please go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. That's redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey and help us out, please. It is the birthday of Sarah Allen today. She is the Sarah of Sarah's Smile, who worked with the duo Hall & Oates. She contributed to so many of their hits like Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, Man-Eater. This is about her, the Miss Sarah Allen, born today. Also the birthday of Joan Armatrading, who is not widely known, but just an amazing artist from Great Britain. Think about Tracy Chapman. She's the version of Tracy Chapman before Tracy Chapman. Anyway, may God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.